Hello everyone. So today we are going to start with our sociology syllabus of UPSC. So in this complete lecture series, we are going to learn all the syllabus that is given or that is recommended by UPSC for our sociology optional. So in today's lecture, we are going to start with Unit 1, which is our first chapter, that is Sociology, the discipline. So in this unit, there are different subtopics that we are going to learn. And the first subtopic is modernity and social change in Europe, which led to the emergence of sociology. Okay, so in this first subtopic of this chapter, we are going to understand how did the modernity and the social change in the Europe, which led to the emergence of a new subject, that is sociology. And then the second subtopic is, after the emergence of sociology, what is the scope of this subject? Okay, so what is the scope of the subject? So we will see that what sociology, through sociology what we can learn. Okay, so what is the scope of the subject, and compare sociology with other social sciences. Okay, so we will compare our subject sociology with history, with philosophy, with science, right? So we will compare it. And in the last subtopic, we will see sociology and common sense. Okay, so this is the three topic that we are going to learn in our first unit, that is sociology the discipline. Under this chapter, we are going to see how did the modernity and the social change in Europe led to the emergence of sociology, and then we will see after the emergence of sociology what is the scope of the subject. It means like through this subject what we can study. Okay, sociology can study, right? Sociology के through हम लोग क्या पढ़ सकते हैं? So what is the scope of the subject, and then we will compare with other social sciences. Like we will see, like compare it with sociology, with history, sociology with philosophy. There will be comparison, and in the last we will see sociology and common sense. Okay, so let's start with our first topic. Okay, so before this, let's understand what is sociology. Okay, so सबसे पहले हम लोग समझते हैं कि sociology क्या है. Okay, from where we have derived this term sociology. Okay, so sociology is derived from Latin word. Okay, derived from Latin word. And what is that Latin word? That is two Latin word, socius and logos. Okay, so sociology is derived from two Latin word, that is socius and logos. So what is the meaning of socius? Socius means companionship. Okay, a companion, and logos means study, or you can say systematic study. Okay, systematic study. So sociology is what? So sociology is scientific and systematic study of society. Okay, so sociology is what? So it is the scientific and systematic study of society. Okay, so society. Okay, so sociology will study the society in the scientific and the systematic matter. Okay, systematic manner. And this term sociology is first coined by Auguste Comte. Okay, so Auguste Comte coined this term sociology in year 1839. So therefore, sociology is also referred as one of the youngest discipline because recently, okay, it is termed, it is referred as youngest discipline. And Auguste Comte coined this term sociology. Who was Auguste Comte? There might be question who was Auguste Comte. So Auguste Comte is also referred as father of sociology. Okay, and he is a French philosopher. So Auguste Comte is who? So Auguste Comte is a French philosopher and he is also called as father of sociology. Okay, so what is sociology? So sociology is derived from the two Latin words that is socius and logos. Socius means companion and logos means systematic study. So therefore, what is sociology? So sociology is scientific and systematic study of social society, right? तो सोसाइटी को जो साइंटिफिक एंड सिस्टमेटिक मैनर से जो सब्जेक्ट पढ़ेगा उसे हम लोग क्या कहेंगे वी विल कॉल इट एज सोशियोलॉजी एंड हु coined this term sociology so it was coined by Auguste Comte in the year 1839 and therefore this discipline is referred as one of the youngest discipline sociology is referred as one of the youngest discipline okay so now we will start with our first subtopic okay that is modernity and social change in Europe, which led to the emergence of sociology. Okay, so just a second. Yeah. Okay. So we will start with our first topic that is modernity and social change in Europe, which led to emergence of sociology. Okay. So what did this mean? So see what happened in Europe. So we will understand step by step. So there are different regions which led to the modernity in Europe and the social change. So if we will start, okay, one by one. So after the fall of Roman Empire, we know that once upon a time there was a Roman Empire in Europe, one of the mightiest empire which ruled over the Europe. So after the fall of Roman Empire, what happened? So after the fall of Roman Empire, what happened? So during the okay, so and when did this Roman Empire fall? So in 5th century. So after the fall of Roman Empire in 5th century, what happened? The European society witnessed a decline in new ideas and innovation. So what happened, as we know, during the Roman Empire, so there are different invention were going on during the Roman Empire. Okay, but as soon as the Roman Empire declined in the 5th century, so European society witnessed decline in the new ideas and innovation in social and scientific. Okay, and the teaching of church started getting dominated over the human mind. Okay, so what happened after the fall of Roman Empire? Just a second. Yeah. Okay, so what happened after the fall of Roman Empire? So European society, the society of Europe, witnessed decline in new ideas and innovation. तो कोई भी new ideas या innovation after the fall of Roman Empire, it was not getting started. Okay, so people start saying that new ideas which were during the Roman Empire or the new innovation that we are going during the Roman Empire, it started decreasing and decreasing. Okay, in social and scientific field. And what second thing happened? The second thing happened is what? The church started getting dominated over the people. Okay, so therefore the teaching of church dominated the human mind. It means कि जो भी church बता रहा है, like this is sacrosanct or this is pure, this is impure. So all the teaching that is given by church started dominated the human mind, right? So what happened after that? So we will see some of the characteristic features of the European society during this time. Okay, so after the fall of Roman Empire, what happened? So after the fall of Roman Empire, European society witnessed the decline in new ideas and innovation in social and scientific field, and teaching of church dominated the human mind. So we will see some of the characteristic features of the society after the fall of Roman Empire. Okay, so we will see some of the characteristic feature of structure of European society during this time. Okay, so after the fall of Roman Empire, what was the characteristic feature of you can say European society? So what happened? So after the fall of Roman Empire, so land becomes central to the economic system. Okay, land becomes central to the economic system. Okay, and then we see like church start getting dominated over the people. So church becomes supreme. Church become supreme and sacrosanct. It means you cannot question the church. Whatever the church said, it is true and you have to follow it. Okay, so church becomes supreme and sacrosanct, land becomes central to economic system. Okay, so therefore what happened? There is emergence of class. Okay, so emergence of class in the society, like feudal lord. Okay, feudal lords, vassals, peasants, etc. So these are the class that started emerging in the during this period. Then there will be feudal structure and monarchy. Okay, and just because of this land becomes central to economic system. What will be happen? So people will start cultivating. So how they will cultivate? With their family. So family and kinship become central to individual life. Okay, family and kinship becomes central to individual life, right? So these are the some characteristic feature of structure of European society during this time. So after the fall of Roman Empire, what happened? So new ideas and innovation were started declining. Okay, the teaching of church dominated the human mind. So therefore there will be changes in the society. And what are the changes in the society is that land become, okay, land is become central to the economic system. Churches, I told you that church started getting dominated over the people, therefore church becomes supreme and sacrosanct. Therefore, okay, and due to this land becomes central to economic system, what will happen? There will be the emergence of new classes, that is feudal lords, vassals, peasants, etc. And there will be what? Feudal structure and monarchy in the society, and family and kinship become central to individual life. Okay, so what happened? So during this period, okay, what happened during this period, as because of the church getting dominated over the people, right? So during this period, when other societies were flourishing, okay, or you can say when other society were progressing, Europe suffers from religious dogmas. Why? Because there is teaching of church dominating. So whatever the church will say, you have to follow, and that is true. Okay, whatever the church said, that will be sacrosanct. You cannot question the church. So therefore, what happened when during this period when other societies were progressing, Europe suffers from religious dogmas and class divide, and therefore we call this period in Europe as Dark Age. Okay, so we call this period in Europe as Dark Age. So we can simply understand. So after the fall of Roman Empire, what happened? So Dark Age is continuing. You can say Dark Age started in Europe. So you can understand in this way. After the fall of Roman Empire in 5th century, what happened? Dark Age started. And what are the feature of Dark Age? Okay. So in Dark Age, what other things were happening? So first thing is church becomes supreme and sacrosanct. So there will be like you cannot question the God. Whatever the church told, like church has told that Earth is at center of the universe and everything revolves around the Earth. So that is false. We know. Okay, but at that time you cannot tell that no, Earth is not at the center. Okay, we will see in this coming lecture that there was a Copernicus who proposed this theory. Okay, so in the Dark Age, what happened? Church becomes supreme and sacrosanct, decline in new ideas and innovation, right? Then land becomes central to economy. Okay, land become central to economy. Rises of class like feudal lords, vassals, peasants, etc. There will be feudal structure and monarchy. Okay, so this dark age was during the period from 5th century to, you can say, 13th or 14th century. Okay, so this is a long duration, and 1 century is around 100 years, right? We know 1 century is equal to 100 years. So you can say there was almost 1000 to 2000 years Europe was suffering from this religious dogmas or in this dark age, right? And after this, in the 14th century, this dark age, okay, so let me just, okay, so this dark age was followed, okay, by a new era, because for 1000 or 2000 years, if you are going through this thing, so there will be a pressure around the people. Okay, now they will like we see in our daily life, if there is separation of a particular class, अगर हम लोग किसी क्लास को particularly suppress कर रहे हैं, तो कुछ टाइम के बाद क्या होता है, they start revolting against you, right? As we see in India during the British time. So when you suppress the people, so their anger got stored and stored, and one day it will be explode. So similar like this, for 1000 years, Europe was in the dark age where the teaching of church were dominated. So what happened? This era was followed by new era. Okay, this dark age was followed by new era of ideas and radical change from traditional thinking. So what happened? This dark age was followed by new era of ideas and radical change from traditional thinking, and we refer this era, okay, we refer this term as Renaissance. Okay, so after the dark age, there was a duration or there was a period we termed as Renaissance. So Renaissance का मतलब क्या हुआ? Okay, what does Renaissance means? So first of all, Renaissance is a French word. Okay, so it is a French word. So Renaissance means rebirth. Okay, or you can say revival or reawakening. So what is reawakening or revival? So the old philosophies, okay, or the old art, old literature during the Roman period, okay, people start reviving it, their old tradition, their old culture. Okay, so you can term it as that Renaissance is what? So Renaissance was a cultural and intellectual movement. और कब स्टार्ट हुआ रेनेसा? When did it begins? It begins from 14th century. Okay, so Renaissance was started during the 14th century. Okay, until it until 17th century it was. Okay, so so what did Renaissance promoted? As I told that it started, Renaissance means revival, reawakening, or rebirth. So what revival? So the old literature, the old philosophies, the old architecture that was during the Roman period. So people started reviving their old culture, literature. Okay, so Renaissance promoted rediscovery of classical philosophy, the philosophy that were during the Roman period. People start trusting it. Okay, literature, architecture, right, art, etc. So Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, architecture, art, etc. And during the period of Renaissance, some of the greatest scientists emerged. Okay, so during the period of Renaissance, okay, so one second, yeah. So during period of Renaissance, there were different scientists, greatest thinkers, philosophers, scholars, all emerged during the period of Renaissance. Okay, so let me just tell you. So during the period of Renaissance, some of the greatest scientists emerged, and what does this scientist propose? Okay, so what scientists proposed? So scientists proposed major shift towards rational thought. Okay, as I told you, like the church has told people that Earth is, Earth is at the center of the galaxy, and everything revolves around the Earth. Okay, so scientists propose major shift towards rational thought. Okay, so for example, we will understand like Nicholas. So one of the greatest scientists of that time was Nicholas Copernicus. Okay, so what this Nicholas Copernicus proposed? It proposed a heliocentric solar system. Okay, so what does this theory propose? So as I told you, like what church has told, okay, people that Earth is Earth is between the center of the galaxy and every planet revolves around the Earth. Okay, but Nicholas Copernicus proposed a heliocentric solar system theory. What does this theory say? That Sun is at the center of the galaxy, and Earth orbit around the Sun, the galaxies. Okay, so this is a major shift towards rational thought. Okay, through this theory. And another scientist, that is Gutenberg, so it invented the printing press. So what happened when printing press was invented? So Bible start printing around the European society. So now everyone has Bible with them. Okay, so they start studying Bible by themselves, because earlier printing press, only the church, okay, only the church people like the father, pope, okay, so different figure of the church, they only study the Bible and they preach the study of Bible to the people. But now after the printing press is developed, invented, so now everybody can get the Bible and study. So therefore that this is the major shift towards the rational thought. Nicholas Copernicus heliocentric solar system and Gutenberg invention of printing press. So these are the some scientists which you can say thrived during the Renaissance period. Okay, so during the period of Renaissance, there was a scientist, okay, some of the greatest scientists. Then another one was, okay, let me just, okay. So scientists emerged during the Renaissance period. Then philosophers also emerged during the, and what philosophers preached, what philosophers preached. So they made attempt to project a picture of an ideal society. Okay, so their teaching, through the teaching of, or you can say through the philosophy, they made attempt to project an ideal society, a picture of ideal society. Okay, so what did philosopher did? So they made attempt to project and picture of an ideal society. Okay, so like one of the greatest philosopher was Rousseau, and Rousseau proposed the social contract theory. So what is the social contract theory? Okay, what is this social contract theory is? So according to Rousseau, okay, according to Rousseau, according to Rousseau, so what people do? So people give up their certain natural freedoms. People give up their certain natural freedoms in exchange of protection. Okay, in exchange of protection and benefits of living in a community, and benefits of living in a community governed by the collective interest of people. Okay, so what did people do? People give their natural freedom. Okay, or you can say people give us certain some natural freedom in order to get protection and benefits of living in a community that is governed by collective interest of people. Okay, he believed that true political authority comes not from a monarch or individual leader, but from the consent of governed and ensuring equality and freedom for all citizens. Okay, so this is what social contract theory is. That is, people give certain natural freedoms to get protection and benefits of living in a community which is governed by not a monarch or individual leader, but from the consent of the people. So this is what the social contract theory is of Rousseau, right? And then after the philosopher, scholars also emerged during the Renaissance. Okay, and what scholars did? So they tend to use stories, satire to attach on superstition, dogmas, and tradition. Okay, so scholars did. So scholar tends to use stories and satire to attach on superstition, dogmas, and tradition. Okay, so like the Dante Divine Comedy and John Milton Paradise Lost Freedom. Okay, and then after the scholars, then painters, right, sculptures, and artists also emerged during the Renaissance period. Okay, and what did this painters, sculptors, and artists do? So they promoted realism, okay, and naturalism by depicting objects and people in a true to a life way, like Leonardo da Vinci, the Mona Lisa painting, or the Last Supper. Okay, and then explorer and voyagers. So what they did? So they opened a new route for trade and interconnection. Okay, so this all. So during the period of Renaissance, so some of the greatest thinkers, scientists, philosophers, religious reformists, so they thrived during this Renaissance period. And what all they did, so they bring, or you can say they break the superstition or the dogmas of the religion. Like we see the scientists propose a major shift toward rational thoughts like Nicholas Copernicus heliocentric solar system theory, or philosophers like Rousseau social contract theory, right? So they propose different ideas, or they propose different theories which break down the superstition, the dogmas of the religion. Okay, so therefore the Renaissance movement brought religious, not only just religious reform, but also they developed the rational thinking to the people. Okay, so Renaissance movement brought religious reform and rational thinking. Now people start ra- thinking rational. So earlier when church was dominated, they do not think that which is correct or which is not correct. They do not think rationally. Whatever the church said, that is true, that is sacrosanct. Okay. So what the Renaissance movement did? So it brings religious reforms, rational thinking at the forefront of social life. Okay. So but this Renaissance movement ended by early 17th century. Okay, so we will see the chart again. Okay, so after the fall of Roman Empire, so what happened in Europe? The Dark Age prevailed. Okay, so Europe society was in the Dark Age, and what was the feature of Dark Age? Church becomes supreme and sacrosanct, feudal system, class divide. Okay, so that all things in the dark age, and this dark age was followed by another new age of rational thinking and religious reform, that is Renaissance. Okay, and what did Renaissance did? So Renaissance movement brought religious reforms. Okay, so Renaissance means revival or reawakening. Okay, what revival or reawakening? So old classical thoughts, rational thinking, scientific theory. Okay, so different scientists and philosophers and scholars emerged during this Renaissance period. But Renaissance ended by early 17th century, and why Renaissance ended? So we will see the regions. Okay, or you can say the factors responsible for the end of Renaissance. Okay, so factors responsible in the demise of Renaissance. So first is what? So when all this were going on, when there were rational thinking, when scientists proposed different theory from the teaching of church, so what happened then? Church started counter-reform movement. Okay, counter-reform movement that censored artists and writers. Okay, so what happened? Counter-reformation counter reformation movement by church, इससे क्या किया चर्च ने क्या किया दैट censored आर्टिस्ट एंड राइटर्स सो आर्टिस्ट और राइटर्स को क्या किया गया बैन कर दिया गया ओके एंड व्हाट हैपेंड so during the renaissance period economic also decline in the Europe society due to change in trade route. So what happened when you will learn the world history? So at that time, the Ottoman Turks, the Ottoman Empire attacked the Constantinople, that is present Istanbul, and they win it. So what happened? The trade route, because the Constantinople is geo-strategically point where all the trade happens. So as the Ottomans occupied that route, so now the European society has to change their trading route because due to some trouble, okay, Ottomans were happening. Okay. So due to which economic decline because there is change in trade route. The third point is that Council of Trent. Okay, what did they do? So they made any views challenging to church as punishable by death. It means that anybody who try to challenge the church, so their punishment will be death. Death sentence will be given to them. Okay, so any views challenging to church, okay, will be punishable by death. It means death sentence will be given. Okay, so due to these factors, which is responsible for the demise of Renaissance. Okay, what happened? Counter-reform movement started by church, economic decline in the European society, and church made that any view that is challenging to church, it will be punishable by death. Okay, but despite it ends, okay, Renaissance का end हो गया, but Renaissance is credited. Okay, so despite the end of Renaissance, okay, Renaissance movement जो था वो खत्म हो गया, but Renaissance is credited with bridging the gap between middle age of European society, between middle age and modern day civilization. Okay, so what is today's Europe and what was earlier Europe? So it is, you can say it is a bridge. So like this is the middle Europe, okay, with religious dogmas, okay, not rational thinking, or you can say ancient Europe society, and this is modern day Europe society. Okay, so this Renaissance is credited as the bridging the gap. Okay, so this duration is Renaissance in which different movement happen, different scientists emerge, different theories proposed in the society. Okay, so modern day civilization, and it also bring it also bring the idea of modernity in Europe. So how did the idea of modernity come in the Europe? So Renaissance is credited as to bring the idea of, so what happens is, we will understand in a step by step. First, what happened? Roman Empire decline, right? After the decline of Roman Empire, dark age prevails in the Europe. It means church becomes supreme and sacrosanct, no innovation, no classical philosophy, no thought, no innovation. Okay, everything stop decline, right? After this age a movement started which we termed as the Renaissance. During this Renaissance, what happened? There was reawakening, revival of old literature, philosophy, architecture, okay, etc. Some of the greatest scientists, philosophers emerged during this Renaissance period, and due to which Renaissance brings what rational thinking in the society, you can say the whatever the myth or the dogmas was going in the society, it break those dogmas, right? But even after that, Renaissance got ended because counter-reform movement by church. Okay, but even after the decline of Renaissance, what did Renaissance did? So Renaissance bridged the gap between the today's Europe and the Middle Age Europe, and it also bring the idea of modernity in Europe, right? So now we will see what is modernity. Modernity कहने का क्या मतलब हुआ, right? So what is modernity? So modernity is also evolved from Latin word. Okay, Latin word modus. Okay, and what is the meaning of modus? It means thinking new or different. Thinking new or different. So what is modernity? So modernity, as I told you that this is Renaissance bridges the gap between the Middle Ages and modern day civilization. So modernity means, yeah, modernity represents substantial breaks from traditional society, okay, with universal nature of norms, value, and technological advancement. Okay, so what does modernity represent? So modernity represents substantial breakdown, okay, from traditional society. So whatever the dogmas or irrational thinkings, okay. So it is modernity means modernity represents substantial background from the traditional society. Okay. So how did all this lead to the emergence of sociology? So during the Renaissance period, there were different revolution also happened in the European society. Okay. So we will see one by one what all revolution you can say that happened during the Renaissance period. So first revolution was commercial revolution. Okay, some of the revolution which happened during the Renaissance period, it was commercial revolution in the Europe. Okay, so what happened in this commercial revolution? So Spain, Portugal, and England, what they did, so they took an initiative to break the Italian monopoly. Okay, so what happened during that period? So due to a strategical point of Italy, okay, so that Italy was a trade hub center of the Europe. So what Italy did? So Italy import the items, okay, from the eastern part, Eastern Asia, okay, purchase the materials and sold at higher cost to England, Portugal, Spain, okay, all other European nations, and they have basically the monopoly over the trade. So due to this, what other European nations like Spain, Portugal, or England, they started initiative, okay, to break down this Italian monopoly. Okay, so what happened during that period? So Italy have monopoly over the trade. Italy have monopoly over the trade, and Spain, Portugal, England want to break this Italian monopoly over the trade. So what they did, so they took some initiatives. Okay, so what all are the initiative that is taken by these three country? Okay, so what all are the initiatives? So let's understand one by one. So what they did, overseas, they started overseas discoveries. Okay, so what they did, so major European trade was with eastern countries through land route. Okay, so जितना भी जो मेजर यूरोपियन ट्रेड था ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज के साथ, ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज लाइक चाइना, इंडिया, राइट, so was through the land route. So Italy, due to its, as I told, Italy due to its geographical location had monopoly over the trade. And what Spain, Portugal, and England wanted, they wanted to trade without Italian monopoly. So what they did, they started alternative route. Okay, so let us see. So major यूरोपियन ट्रेड किसके साथ था? ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज के साथ था. मेजर यूरोपियन ट्रेड was with eastern countries through land route, right? And Italy, due to geographical location, had monopoly over trade, and Spain and Portugal wanted to trade without Italian monopoly. Without Italian monopoly. Okay. So therefore, what they did, so they promoted alternate route. It means कि अब हम लोग इटली से नहीं ट्रेड करेंगे. We will see for a alternate route. So they promoted alternate to trade with eastern countries. Promoted alternate route. Okay. So therefore, what happened? So there was shift from land route to sea route. So therefore, they starting searching for a sea route. Okay. So therefore, due to this shift from land route to sea route. Okay. So what Portugal and Spain did, so they promoted exploration to naval route. Okay. So they promoted, so what Spain and Portugal promoted exploration to naval route. Okay. So to end the Italian monopoly over the trade, they shifted from land route to sea route. Okay. So for this, Spain and Portugal promoted the exploration to naval route. Okay. Resulted in discovering of sea route to eastern countries. Discovering of sea route. तो अब sea route मिल गया, right? And this discovery was followed by Britain and Holland. तो इस डिस्कवरी से क्या हुआ? ब्रिटेन एंड हॉलैंड ने भी डिस्कवर कर लिया सी रूट टू ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज विच एक्सपेंडेड कॉमर्शियल एक्टिविटीज. तो इससे क्या हो गया? कॉमर्शियल एक्टिविटी क्या हो गया? एक्सपेंड हो गया वर्ल्ड वाइड. Okay, because we see like uh, discovery of America, discovery of West Indies, right? Discovery of India. So this, due to which the colonial activity also started, and also they expanded the trade activity throughout the world. Okay, and due to this, due to expansion, okay, so due to, so just a second. Okay, so initiative, yeah. Okay. So overseas discovery, then it led to shift from land route to sea route, and due to which, due to discovery of sea route, so many of the European society discovered the route to eastern countries and other countries also. So therefore, the commercial activity expanded worldwide. So when the commercial activities expanded worldwide, okay. So with this, so there was expansion of banking system also. Why? Because when they going to trade, they need insurance. There might be a chance that their whatever they are going to trade, that might get destroyed in during the journey or anything. So for this purpose, there was a need of banking system. So therefore, there was a expansion of banking. Expansion of banking. Okay. So with expansion of trade, there was a need felt for easier credit facilities, okay, ताकि उनको अच्छे से लोन भी मिल सके. So therefore it resulted in the expansion of banking, okay. And with the expansion of banking and trade, so there was a rise of middle class, okay. So there was a rise of middle class. See, everything is linked. पहले क्या हो गया, इटालियन मोनोपोली को खत्म करना था, तो उस वजह से क्या हुआ, ओवरसीज डिस्कवरीज की गई. एंड टू एंड दिस, व्हाट स्पेन एंड पोर्टुगल डिड, दे started exploration, okay, they promoted exploration to naval route, okay. जिससे क्या हुआ कि सी रूट का डिस्कवरी हो गया. एंड दिस सी रूट डिस्कवरी वाज फॉलोड बाय ब्रिटेन एंड हॉलैंड व्हिच एक्सपेंडेड द कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी वर्ल्ड वाइड. And with expansion of trade, there was a need felt for easier credit, loan आसानी से मिल सके, right. So for this, it resulted in the expansion of banking. And in the expansion of banking, so when you expand the bank, you need employees, right. And when you expand the trade also, you need employees. So due to which there was a rise of middle class, which became economically powerful and influenced by the 17th century. So it is a middle class थे यूरोप के, they become magic, they become economically powerful, okay. And what this middle class included, so this middle class includes merchants, okay, व्यापारी, bankers, ship owners, investors. So these all are middle class, and they become economically influenced by the 17th century. So this is the commercial revolution. कमर्शियल रिवॉल्यूशन में क्या हो गया, स्पेन इटली का मोनोपोली था ट्रेड पे, बिकॉज लैंड रूट से ट्रेड होता था. एंड ड्यू टू ज्योग्राफिकल लोकेशन, इटली हैज अ मोनोपोली ओवर द ट्रेड. टू एंड दिस मोनोपोली, what Spain and Portugal did, they started promoting exploration to naval route, which resulted in discovering of sea route. And this discovery of sea route was followed by Britain and Holland, which resulted in the expansion of trade worldwide. With the expansion of trade, there was a need for easier credit, which resulted in the expansion of banking. And due to expansion of banking, there was a need of employees. And with the expansion of trade, there was also need of employees. So therefore, there was a rise of middle class. Okay, and due to expansion of trade, what happened? There was Europeanization of world. Okay, because we know what European countries did. They settled their colonies in different parts of the world, like in India, South Africa, right, Pakistan. So different parts of country they colonized. Okay, so therefore Europeanization of world. So this was the commercial revolution, which was during the Renaissance period. Okay, another revolution was scientific revolution. Okay, so which we see, I told you in earlier of this lecture, scientific scientists proposed major shift toward the rational thought. So there was scientific revolution. Okay, so which you can say marked the clean break from the past. Okay, like Copernican revolution theory, which explained the solar system as heliocentric rather than geocentric. So what happened? This, like Church was proposing that no, Earth is at the center of the universe, and all other galaxies move, all other planets move around the Earth, right? But but at that time, what happened? Telescope was also discovered. So with the help of that, okay. So what Copernicus proposed? It proposed that no, Earth did not. Earth is not at the center. Rather than Sun is at the center, and Earth revolves around the Sun. Okay. So this discovery put a fatal blow to the old world belief of geocentrism. तो इससे क्या हो गया? उन्हें लग गया नहीं, चर्च गलत पढ़ा रहा है, तो इसका मतलब चर्च गलत है. Okay. So this was also, you can say, which marked a clean break from the past, scientific revolution. Okay, and different than medicine, chemistry, right, astronomy also happened during the scientific revolution. The third revolution which occurred during the Renaissance period, it was Enlightenment period. In the Enlightenment period, what happened? So Enlightenment period, okay, just a second. So Enlightenment period, it marked a radical change from traditional thinking. It marked a radical change from traditional thinking. Okay, it introduced a new way of thinking. Okay, Enlightenment period introduced a new way of thinking, introduce a new way of thinking. So what new way of thinking? That is, individual started questioning each and every aspect of life. Okay, individuals जो थे, जो पहले during the dark age they do not question, they started questioning each and every aspect of life without considering anything sacrosanct. Okay, किसी भी चीज को sacrosanct ना सोच के they started questioning everything, including church, state, monarch, anything. They start questioning why this happened, why happened this, why happened that. Okay, so enlightened period introduced new way of thinking. That is, people started questioning each and everything without considering anything sacrosanct. Even it started questioning from church, from monarch, right, from state. So this is a enlightenment period. Okay, then after this there was a French Revolution, and this is, you can say, one of the important reason for the emergence of sociology also. Why? Let's understand first French Revolution. What was the French Revolution? French Revolution tha kya? Okay, although you will study in world history, but let's study also here. So in the French society, okay, let me just, yeah. So in the French society, the society was divided into three states. Okay, first state, second state, and third state. Okay, first state, second state, and third state. Right. So first state consists of high clergy. Okay, so the first state consists of high clergy. Second state consists of two kinds. Okay, that is nobility of swords, nobility of swords, SWORDS, and nobility of robe. So all this thing you will study in world history. Okay, so we don't need to much focus on here. I will just tell you, okay, what is important here. So second state consists of two kinds of you can say group: nobility of swords and nobility of robe. And the third state consists of rest of society. Rest of society कहने का मतलब क्या? Peasants, merchants, right? Different. So rest of society. So what happened in this three states? So these two states, first and second, they are of 2% population of French. 2% population. Okay. And they owned 35% land. Okay. And there was no tax for them. No tax. On the other hand, third state consists of 80%. Okay. 80% of population. Okay, this 80% people owned only 30% land, and they are burdened with tax. तो first state and second state कोई भी tax नहीं देते थे. The tax collection was only from the third state. Okay, so what happened in French? So there was an intellectual development in French, in France. Okay, so there was an intellectual development in France. Okay, so what was the intellectual development? What were the intellectual development? So like Montesquieu, one of the scholar. Okay, Montesquieu in his book Spirit of Law, Montesquieu in his book Spirit of Law proposed theory of separation of powers and individual liberty. Okay, तो Montesquieu ने क्या propose किया अपने book में? Theory of separation of powers and individual liberty. Okay, कहने का क्या मतलब हो गया कि उसने अपने बुक में क्या प्रपोज किया कि देयर शुड बी अ सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर. ओके, मतलब देयर विल बी सम लिबर्टी which will be available for all the people. Okay, and there is a separation of power. Second, okay, so let me just write. Montesquieu in his Spirit of Law, in his book Spirit of Law, proposed theory of separation of power and individual liberty. Okay, and then there was Locke, another scholar. It advocated that every individual have certain rights. Every individual have certain rights, and what are those right? Okay, what are those right? So right to property, right to personal freedom, right, and right to live. And these all rights cannot be taken by any state. Okay, so this theory was proposed by Locke, and another scholar was Voltaire. Okay, what did it propose? So it advocated the religious tolerance, freedom of speech and expression, and stood for individual rights. Okay, so it advocated religious tolerance. Okay, religious tolerance, freedom of speech and expression, and stood for individual right. Okay, and then there was another scholar I told you earlier, Rousseau, which proposed social contract theory, mentioned that people have right to choose their rulers. Okay, as they can develop their personality based on the government of their choice. Okay, okay, that is social contract theory. So all this intellectual development in France, which led to different ideas. Okay, all this ideas, okay, all this development in France, intellectual development, proposed different ideas. Okay, and these ideas struck the struck the imagination of French people, resulted into following events. Okay, और क्या events हुआ उस time पे? So there were different events which occurred in the French society at that time. And what were those events? So let me just tell you. So what happened? Due to this intellectual development in France, proposed different ideas, and these ideas struck the imagination of French people, which resulted into following events. So what are the events happened? Okay, so due to you can say bankruptcy. Okay, what happened in the France due to their, you can say, war. Okay, so there was bankruptcy of French government. Okay, उनका जो खजाना था, that was end. Okay, that was empty. So bankruptcy of French government. So what happened? The following events happened. So bankruptcy of French government. Okay, led king to impose टैक्स ऑन एवरीवन. अब क्या हुआ, बैंकरप्सी होने के कारण पहले क्या था कि फर्स्ट और सेकंड स्टार्ट देयर, फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड स्टेट देयर वर नो टैक्स, बट नाउ व्हाट किंग imposed tax on everyone irrespective of their social status. So in response of this, what happened? So in response of this, rich noble and clergy rich noble and clergy demanded state meeting of state council. Okay, demanded meeting of state council. Okay, so then meeting happened. Okay, so this was the first event which led to this, and after this what happened? So there was meeting happened of all the state council. So what third state wanted? So third state wanted in the meeting, what third state wanted? Third state wanted that all state to meet and vote as one. Like first state, second state, and third state, all state meet and they should vote as one assemble. लेकिन जो first and second state थे, they disagree. Okay, which led to the formation of National Assembly led by middle class and liberal minded leaders. Okay, the third state wanted what? That all state meet and vote as one assemble, right? But first or second state ने क्या किया? But first and second state disagree, and due to which what happened? Formation of National Assembly. National Assembly by middle class people and liberal minded people from first and second state, liberal minded leaders. Now what happened after this event? Okay, so after this what happened? Another event happened. Okay, so on 20th June 1789 what happened? So when a meeting was scheduled at Hall of Versailles, okay, 20 June 1789 को क्या था कि when there was a meeting scheduled at Hall of Versailles near Paris, so इस मीटिंग में क्या हुआ कि थर्ड स्टेट को परमिशन नहीं दिया गया अटेंड करने के लिए. इट मींस द गेट वेयर क्लोज फॉर द थर्ड स्टेट मेंबर्स and due to which their leader Belay went to next building. Okay, just Hall of Versailles के दूसरे बिल्डिंग में it went to the next building and they took oath to draw a new constitution for France. Okay, that marked the beginning of French Revolution. So on 28 June 1789, okay, meeting scheduled at Hall of Versailles, Paris, Versailles at Paris. Okay, so third state member was not allowed. Third state member was not allowed. So what happened then? Their leader Belly went to next building, okay, and took oath to draw new constitution for France. For France, okay, which marked as beginning of French Revolution, which marked beginning of French Revolution. And then after what happened? So on 14th July, okay, this was 27 1789. On 14th July 1789, okay, an ancient royal prison is stormed by mobs of Paris, seeking their matters in their hand and rebel against the ruling class. Okay, so 14 July 1789 को क्या हो गया? So the royal prison storms and the mobs of Paris, they revolted against the ruling class, and this day was celebrated as Independence Day in France. Okay, so you can say mobs of Paris rebelled against ruling class, and this day is celebrated as Independence Day in France, right? So what happened after this? After independence of France, so new Constituent Assembly announced Declaration of Right of Man, okay, that guaranteed freedom of religion, speech, freedom of arbitrary punishment, and abolition of special privileges. So this was all about French Revolution, and the last revolution during this period was Industrial Revolution. Okay, so due to Industrial Revolution, what happened? Okay, so this revolution was began around 1760 AD in England. So during this period, industrial revolution was going in the England. So what that is bring? So it brought different changes. So first changes was that like society was before economy was like feudal or the land was central to the economy, but now there was a capitalist system of production. Okay, so there was change in economy from feudal to capitalist system of production, right? So this led to the capitalist class emergence of capitalist class, okay, capitalist class that control production, okay, and due to the development of industry in the England, so it promoted, as I told you, different banks for easier credits, insurance companies, finance corporation, okay. So another changes was what? Development of banks and insurance company, etc. Development of banks, insurance company, etc. Okay, which led to the emergence of new class of industrial workers, managers, okay, or you can say middle class, led to the emergence of middle class, okay, and due to which there was, you can say, led to rise in population in cities. Why? Because now the economy is changed from the agriculture to the capitalist system of production to the industrial. Now people from, you can say, village will go to city for good work for higher salaries. So there will be led to the rise of population in cities. Okay, and this will lead to the large scale migration of people, large scale migration of people, right? So if we see all, okay, so if we see, so during the Renaissance period, we see different revolution. Okay, first revolution was commercial revolution that started in Europe. Okay, which led to rise of middle classes, expansion of banking, right? And in the second one, what happened? Scientific revolution, which breaks, you can say, the myths, the dogmas of religious, which breaks the religious dogmas, Enlightenment period. So all this revolution disrupted the European society. Okay, all this revolution disrupted the European society and ushered an era known as modernity. So all these changes usher an era known as modernity in Europe, which brings brought new problems, which brought new problems like people started settling in cities which अब जैसे simple समझो, if city have also limited amount of, you can say, resources, okay, if city is overburdened with the people, there will be scarcity of resources, so there will be misery with the people will living in the poverty, right? So it brought new problems associated with it, जो कि presents जितने भी social science थे, okay, which cannot be explained with the present body of knowledge. These all problems cannot be explained with the present body of knowledge. So there was a need of another discipline जो कि इन सारी समस्या को पढ़ सके, समझ सके, ओके, जो सोसाइटी को अच्छे से समझ सके. Therefore, to solve this problem, the another discipline was discovered or emerged, and that discipline was called sociology. Okay, so brought new problem, and the present discipline cannot explain all this problem, cannot explain all these problems. Like there was philosophies, or different discipline available, so cannot explain all this problem. So therefore, sociology as a discipline emerged. Okay, so in this way, there was the emergence of sociology. So we will just summarize it. Okay, let's summarize this. So what happened first? So after the fall of Roman Empire, after the fall of Ottoman Empire, it was followed by Dark Age, okay, in which religious dogmas prevailed, church became supreme and sacrosanct, feudal economies, land became central to the economy, right? All these were the features of Dark Age. This Dark Age was followed by the movement, okay, traditional movement or cultural movement, you can say Renaissance, which promoted different scientific theory, and different revolution occurred during the period of Renaissance, okay, which brings new problem, okay, which brings new problem in the society which cannot be studied by the present discipline. Okay, this different revolution brings modernity in the society, and with the modernity in the society there was a different problems occurs in the society which cannot be studied by the present discipline. Therefore there was a need of another discipline, and sociology as a discipline emerged. So this led to the emergence of sociology. Okay, so that's all in the today's lecture, guys. In this lecture, we have see how did the society, how did the sociology emerge in the European society, and what all are the region. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. And if you like the videos, okay, please like it, share with your friend, and subscribe it. Thank you.